Hello everyone. In the early session, we talked about the mechanism of normal labor. Continuing the same topic, today we'll talk about the effect of labor on the fetal head. Whenever the fetal head is passing through the mother's pelvis in labor, the head faces the pelvic floor resistance. So the labor produces some effect on the fetal head. So we'll talk about these effects in detail today. These effects are molding of the head and caput succedaneum. We see first what is molding of the head. It is alteration in the size and shape of the forecoming fetal head up to some extent while passing through the resistant birth passage during labor. So during labor, whenever the fetal head is passing through the mother's pelvis, due to pelvic floor resistance, the size and shape of the fetal head changes. That this alteration is called molding of the head, right? How does it occur? In the LOA position, the engaging suboccipitobregmatic diameter is compressed with elongation of head in manto vertical diameter. Manto એટલે chin. From chin to vertex, diameter changes. Like, see, this is the mechanism of molding of the head. See, from the front and from the posterior side, from the occiput and from the frontal bone, compression occurs inside. So elongation occurs in this direction. You can see the dotted line that shows the elongated head direction wise, right? So here you will find suboccipitobregmatic diameter changes to manto vertical, right? It is in the right angle to suboccipitobregmatic. In engaging diameter, compression occurs from both the ends with resultant elongation of the head, which I just shown you in this diagram, right? From the both sides or from anterior and the posterior side, compression occurs towards the inside. So resulting elongation will occur of the head. Due to this compression, the occiput and the edges of the frontal bones deep under the parietal bones. Parietal bones are the adjacent bones, the side bones. So the frontal and the occipital bone will go under the parietal bone. The parietal bones tend to overlap the adjacent bones. Parietal bones overlap the frontal and the occipital bone because of this pressure. You can see this diagram. Depending on the position of the fetal head, you can see the elongation. Right? The black line, it shows the elongation after the molding of the head. So this will be helpful to you for the better understanding. Further, in the same molding of the head, it also occurs due to escape of the blood and small amount of the cerebrospinal fluid. Commonly, there is alteration of 4 mm in skull diameter occurs. So the skull size reduces by about 4 mm. There are different grades of the molding. Grade 1 shows bones touching but no overlapping. The bones don't overlap. They touch each other but they don't overlap. Grade 2 is overlapping but easily separated. Bones are overlapped but they can be separated easily. And grade 3 is fixed overlapping. The adjacent bones overlap fixed, that is the fixed overlapping. Grade 3 molding. Molding of the head helps in its easy passage through the birth canal because molding reduces the fetal head size. So it makes the birth of the fetal head easy. It makes the expulsion of the fetus easy. Slight molding is physiological, so it is harmless and disappears within few hours after the delivery, after the birth. Extreme molding in CPD. CPD is cephalopelvic disproportion. Cephalo means head, pelvis of the mother. So when the fetal head and the mother's pelvis are not in proportion, their size is not in proportion. Otherwise, normally the fetal head should pass through the mother's pelvis. Mother's pelvis should be that much wide. At that time, we can say that the head and the mother's pelvis are in proportion. But sometimes pelvis is smaller size and the head is larger size. That will cause a cephalopelvic disproportion. Like when the mother is short statured, so she has contracted pelvis. So the contracted pelvis is there. Even the normal size fetus will be larger, cannot pass through the mother's birth passage. So it causes CPD. In some cases, mother's pelvis is adequate. It is wide enough, but the fetus is larger in the size. So comparatively pelvis becomes narrow. That is also CPD. So in such cases, the extreme molding which we usually find in the CPD is pathological. It is abnormal. It is harmful for the fetus because it may produce subdural hemorrhage. It causes pressure on the fetal head and causes subdural hemorrhage, right? So at that time you may advise for cesarean section. Another effect on the fetal head is caput succedaneum that you have studied in the second year class in the forensic medicine. It is the area of localized edema or swelling on the fetal scalp which develops during labor. So on some area of the fetal scalp there is localized swelling. It usually develops after the rupture of the membranes. Till the membranes are intact, the pelvic floor resistance on the fetal head is through the membrane. It is not directly on the fetal head. But when the membranes rupture, this may occur sometimes. Normally membrane ruptures after the first stage of labor. When the first stage ends, you know that the first stage ends with the complete cervical dilatation. But sometimes before cervix dilates completely, the membrane ruptures. That we say the premature rupture of the membrane, PROM. So at that time, after the rupture of membrane, the resistance is now directly on the fetal head. It is not through the membrane. Now the head directly comes under the pressure, under the force. So this caput develops. It always develops after the rupture of membrane. So whenever you examine, you do the PV examination, and if you find that caput is formed on the fetal head, that means membranes have ruptured, right? This swelling is diffuse, boggy, that is sponge-like. It is not limited by the suture lines. So you can see the caput even on the suture line. You can see this diagram. It is the localized swelling. In the ROA position, it is seen on the posterior side of the, or you can say on the left side of the parietal bone. In the LOA position, it is seen towards the right side, right? So this is the area-wise distribution of the caput succedaneum. Location of caput gives an idea about the position of the head occupied in the pelvis. What is the position of the head? LOA, ROA, apanne khabar pade. Here we are more concerned with the LOA and ROA because these are the normal positions. When the position is LOA, the caput forms on the posterior end of the right parietal bone. Right side ma form thai. And jo ROA position hoy to left side ma, right? Caput usually disappears within 24 hours after the birth. So caput is physiological. It does not require any treatment. After the birth, within 24 hours, caput usually disappears. These increasing caput, if cervix is not dilating, the membranes have ruptured, caput is increasing by the time, and cervix is not dilating, patient requires to go for cesarean section. This is not the usual sign, right? So increasing caput without progressive cervical dilatation, labor is not progressing, you have to send the patient for cesarean section. Normal delivery is not possible, or it becomes difficult, rather you can say, because caput increases the size of the fetal head slowly and slowly, so it makes the labor more difficult, right? So you have to see with the increasing caput, if cervix is dilating, you can wait for normal labor. Otherwise, you have to send the patient for cesarean section because normal delivery is difficult. Even though you attempt for normal delivery, many complications may be associated. So you may not take that chance, right? That was all about the effect of labor on the fetal head. In the next session, we will talk about the management of the normal labor. Okay? Thank you.